All right, that was a bit weird. Not sure what that video error was, but I think we are good now. Let's see. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. Yeah, you're in, or yeah, you can hear me. Which one is it? I've never seen that error before. It's kind of funky, right? Video error or something like that. Linda, what's up, man? How is you? Are you there? Did you guys arrive safely? No, no, not hearing well. No, I'm trying to figure out. Are you guys there? Like, you guys made it? You guys are safe? You guys drinking some type of tropical drinks or something? When I was in Jamaica, I had lots of rum runners. So tired of pineapple after after the third day, I was like, I can't take anymore. I'm good. The Mac Gang. Yep, the Mac Gang is back. The tropical drink in a mason jar. Yeah, I think it was rum, right? The one with the pineapple on the side. I forget what it was called. I was just so like, ugh. It just wasn't me. Her and safe and sound. All right, cool. All right, so how about them moves for today? We had some up and down, back and forth, left and right today. It looks like the biggie of the day was actually dollar CAD, dropping 46 pips today on the market. Um, Again, had a little bit left, like I said, there was actually some moves today. They were much smaller time frames. Nothing major, no big swings today that I was able to kind of grab or see. There was just a little bit of New Zealand kind of play with the news a little while ago that literally spiked up into a zone. Very easy to see on the hourly. You can see it on the 4 hour, but easier to see on the hourly. Turn dropped 30 pips back down again, so that one is already out. Again, no major shifts, changes, anything else. Again, we've been waiting for this impeachment thing tonight, and I guess the impeachment thing is now over. Let me see actually if Forex Factor has anything on there. Let's see. And again, this Aussie data was actually pretty good too. So Aussie's up 29. Again, it's been basically up all day, but again, nice employment data here. That's good. It dropped down to 5.2 as well, and then actually big miss at the top side for the employment change, so that was good. There you go. Look at that. It's only considered from the BBC, right? It's only considered minor impact news. Trump is impeached, become the third president to face Senate trial. It's like wah wah wah. Who cares? And that's it. Just like that. That's all there is. He's impeached. It's a light color, and that's it. Let's move on. It's just so funny. It's just I'm not getting into politics, but it's just like I just can't help to think, like, as far as the business world goes, it's just such a waste of time. I did hear some interesting comments earlier, though, that everybody's like, oh, this means the whole Chinese thing is going to be, they're going to delay and everything. And it's actually interesting. I guess there was some quotes saying that of the presidential, I don't, not presidential, but I guess of the other candidates out there, that China most likely wants to work with Trump because Trump is not he's not big into the humanities and the environment. And the Democrats are obviously very much more into, the human rights issues and obviously the environment, which China is just like, oh, we don't want to go there. We don't want to talk about that. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see. I don't know. At this point, it's kind of like, what's going to come of it? Nothing. Okay, let's just move on. I don't know. I'm over it. I'm more interested in Brexit and how we're going to get out of that one. I think that one's a much better thing to kind of talk about. So, with that being said, going into tomorrow, also, oil was a bit crazy today. I know some of you guys traded oil. I was looking at it. I couldn't find anything that I liked. And man, that thing was drunk. It was up, it was left, it was right, it was sideways, it was back down again. It spiked and it went down again and tried to retrace. It was literally all over the place. Obviously, thank you to James feeding us the volume on that one. Again, I expected to be lower volume, but yeah. So much for oil today. But I will say this, for any of those Nadex news breakout traders, you most likely made money today. I mean, that thing jumped $1.10 in, what was it, like 12 minutes, I think. It definitely blew through the top side of any type of binaries you guys would have had on a breakout. So again, if you guys are still trading those original Nadex strategies that I've released, again, they worked. I mean, big winner today on that one. Now, going to tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow we start off with retail sales, and again, retail sales is becoming more and more of a popular number for people. You can see previously it was a minus 0.1, and now it's forecast to be 8.3, so it's expected to be pretty good, and that's going to be factored in. Now, monetary policy at 7 a.m. tomorrow, but obviously there's not going to be any type of no rate cut or anything, not with Brexit looming and kind of where it is. They're not going to start cutting rates before they really know what's going on. I don't see that being too big of an issue. And then obviously the Philly Fed manufacturing number at 8:30. And then it's kind of quiet for the day. So tomorrow will be a day where it's going to be about who said this, who tweeted that, what type of protest. It's going to be a mess tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be a social media day. Who can come up with the better headline or something like that, or it's going to be like a tennis match. Who says this? Who responded to that? Said this on Twitter? I'm telling you, we joked about this in the Discord channel before about how I think the Democrats are just going to outlaw Twitter for presidential communications. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen next. We're going to censor the president that he's no longer allowed to speak. Just not this one, but going forward. It's just what's going to happen. I had a weekly ES short. I love that China trade delay tweet. Yeah, but honestly, I don't believe anything from the Chinese thing. Obviously, phase one is done. And again, the comment that I read today, like I said, about the humanities and the environment are definitely, you got to think about that. Again, that's not really a big Trump thing. It is definitely more of a Democratic slate thing. So you would think if anything was bad, they'd be like, hey, let's go. And again, what did we hear last 2 weeks ago? Oh, we're going to jack everything up, and this is going to, we don't need this. I mean, we're not in a hurry. And then 2 days later, yep, deal's done. we're good. We wanted to do it, and they wanted to do it, and so don't believe any of the headlines. It's moving along the same way they expected to go to. So I don't believe anything. What else we got? Um, Pricing wasn't quite right for oil for breakout. It wasn't bad. The top side wasn't bad. Um, Pound better be good tomorrow. Been in a trade since 2 a.m. and it's still only moved 5 pips. Yep. Well, Linda, with retail sales, I think you will get a bit of movement tomorrow. Yeah, I don't care about the actual trade talks. I just want the tweet. Yeah, the tweet. I don't know. I'm basically done at this point. I mean, I'll look for select things, but I'm more or less done at this point. Um, there's not too much else out there that I need to see. Um, and just for the record, guys, now that we have a meme channel, I just want to let you guys all know we were talking about, all of you know how great of a cook or a barbecue chef Ernest is. We can't really call him a cook. We can't really call him a chef. He's kind of I guess pitmaster is probably the best, but he does other things besides just smoke meat. But we were having a funny discussion today. If you guys did not check it out on Discord, make sure you go over to Discord and check that one out. I know many of you have probably seen the Bad Boys movie. I just want to let you know my photoshopping skills may not be as good as Ryan, but I think my meme was pretty good inside of the meme channel, talking about what happens the first time that our buddy Ernest, his daughter brings a guy over to the house. If you ever watch Bad Boys, you know the scene that I'm talking about. But it's inside the meme channel. Give me some love with it. Give me more likes than Ryan's. Ryan's was good. Ryan's was a video. He one upped it, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I keep it going. But again, my splicing technique I thought was pretty good, particularly for James. James's splicing on Will Smith I thought was quite excellent. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Ernest's picture, but Ernest is making a funny face looking at James as James is talking about it. I may have to splice that into an actual video at this point. So, just FYI. Maybe maybe that's what I'll do this weekend. Maybe I will, try to one up Ryan. I will rip out Camtasia. I will splice the head in and have it moving around, and maybe like the mouth thing. If I can get James to talk like that, do the Will Smith thing, that would be absolutely hysterical. So, all right, let's go into what we have. So, again, that's what we have tomorrow. Again, the news, obviously, really not a whole lot. The only thing we had in here about an hour and a half ago was the unemployment rate in Australia. And again, that's good that it's dropping down and gave us some Aussie strength in there. We saw a bunch of that pop in there. Besides that, I mean, obviously, crude oil was a miss today. It wasn't a very big miss, though. Looking back at that one, right? Looking for today, the forecast of that one was negative 1.5, and the forecast and the actual came in at negative 1.1. So not really a huge miss. I'm actually kind of surprised that it is a red. I mean, that's a pretty small miss, considering what we had before. Yeah, kind of surprised that was actually red. That must have been a borderline of being red to no color. But again, oil had some movement today, and then kind of like leveled off and died after that. So I don't see too much happening after that. All right, so that's kind of it. So jumping into the scanner, let me pull that up so I can look at that a little bit easier. So this is where we are right now. All right, looking at the two setup conditions we have right now, we have the Aussie dollar and we have the dollar CAD, both in downtrend setup situations. Obviously, again, with the Aussie news tonight, we had a bit of an Aussie spike, so we'll have to look at the chart and see what that ran into. It's always great when it's a downtrend setup, but that also means it's rallying back up from the news. So we'll see if it can run into something and continue pushing to the downside, or has it run into a demand zone and that is causing the flip? Same thing with dollar CAD. I know CAD yen is very, very high in the curve. We'll see what dollar CAD is actually doing right now and see what type of setups that we have going on with that one. As I said, that one was pushing down and getting very, very close to a demand level. We hadn't quite hit it yet. I do know that a trade that we set up last night, we mentioned that if price comes back up again, there would be another opportunity. And right at the London Open this morning, that opportunity occurred. Now the trade is still live. It is about, I think it's like 10 pips or 12 pips or something like that from the profit target. I mean, you've obviously locked everything at this point. But interesting learning example, and again, that was a trade we set last night, and that was a good one. That was one where we risked 15 and it was like shooting for like 80 or 70 or something like that. It was over 4-1. I think it was close to a 6-1 trade, and I'll show you guys where that one's at in a second. Besides that, dollar yen is the only thing really right now inside of the majors that is giving us something that could potentially be a setup. But I mean, how much did the indexes move today? Not too much, right? Even the currencies did not really move much today, as far as dollar yen, which is obviously going off the Dow. So not much moving there. Looking at the euro basket. So euro basket again. Euro pound, what do we got? Man, this thing is taking off, right? It's that anchor break to the top side, and again, we're still seeing that movement on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Thing is still just driving forward, right? A little bit more weakness, right? Euro yen, again, everything else is consolidating. Euro yen, Euro New Zealand, Euro dollar, all consolidating, kind of more or less going sideways. Euro CAD, again, CAD and Swiss are both, again, rallying a little bit back up, right? If this is a downtrend setup, we know there's a bit of a rally. You can see that on the lower time frames. And then obviously Euro Aussie, we just had Aussie news, so that one's going to be kind of all over the place. We'll see where that one, where that one goes. Looking at the CAD basket. So, CAD basket, when it is in a second position, it is rallying. We are in a downtrend setup situation, meaning all these pairs are going down. CAD is finally getting some strength and is pulling back. So let's go over there and we will see what type of demand zones that we do have and see what we can do with that. CAD Swiss, I don't really trade too often. Again, CAD Yen, sideways, up, confirmed, but guess where we are? We are literally sitting right inside of that supply zone that we talked about last night. We rallied up to it and stopped. Yes, we just stopped. So we'll see kind of where that one goes from there. All right. Again, Aussie basket, everything is down setup, basically meaning that we were in a downtrend and now we are getting a bit of a pullback to the upside. Again, that's going along with the unemployment rate and the employment change numbers, which were both awesome for the Aussie. Okay, so hopefully some of you guys got some money out of that one. And then the pound. Okay, the pound over here is basically just showing up. Everything but the pound New Zealand, which is showing a downtrend setup, which also means that it is going up. Okay, so with that being said, getting a little bit of pound strength back into this market will be nice, especially going into retail sales tomorrow morning. Hey, glad you made the trip back. Fine, rum it up for me. James, I would love to hear your opinion on my splicing ability. I just want to know, did I get the right picture? Like, is that a good picture to be Will Smith? I mean, I made you jacked. I mean, Will Smith is pretty big in that picture, man. I was quite proud of my work. Wasn't as happy with how I got Ernest's head pasted on Martin Lawrence, but I think I nailed it, man. I think I really nailed it on yours. All right, so that's what we have across the board, guys. Like I said, most of the setups are happening right now with the CAD and then the Aussie. We know why with the Aussie because of the news that recently just came out. So we'll kind of see really kind of what else is really out there on the board. But right now, overnight, I don't really see too much sitting out here that's just screaming. Like I said, everything is more or less news-based or obviously associated with the CAD, right? And what we have going on. And again, CAD was basically really not too much. Again, it's going to be looking tomorrow morning, I think, is what really we're going to focus on. All right, so let's go to charts. Let's go over here to the first one. I don't think that my head would fit on anyone or anything. Ernest, that's pretty close, man. And you're making a face, so that makes it even better. It's pretty close. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I don't even know where it is right now. Let's see, in the meme channel. The original. There you go. See, I almost got, look, James's is pretty good. Maybe I could have moved it over a little bit more, but I got his ear like perfect in here. And it could just be James with the tan, right? Right? I mean, it could be. But Ernest is like, his head was a little bit wide for Martin Lawrence. But the face, he's making the face. That's what's important, right? And poor Reggie. Poor Reggie. That's my resting face. Right? But I mean, James is good. Besides this little piece here, like, if I just cut this little piece of, like, neck right here out, I mean, James is good. Look at this. This neck is good here. A little bit of a shadow. I mean, it's pretty good. I like it, man. It's good, right? All right. That was one. And then, for those of you that missed it too, this is this is what my wife sent me today. I was like, yeah, I'm in the doghouse. You guys know the story. I have this where like the baby waits for me at night to go to bed, and she like knocks on the door and stuff like that. She sends me this earlier, and I was like, oh god, right? Baby Yoda is like all the craze now. If you guys didn't know from the Mandalorian, but this is basically my life. This is my wife. I gave birth to you, and meanwhile the baby is patting my pillow like, come on, come to bed, Dada. Last night after I got off chart school, by the way, guys, she was basically giving me the hungry symbol. And I was like, is she hungry? She wants to eat. My wife's like, I don't know, just feed her. So I grabbed her some pasta, and then it became like this 30-minute, basically me running up and downstairs to refill her bowl as she's going, more, more, more. So, yeah, girl's got quite of quite an appetite on her at night. It's pretty funny. All right, so looking at Aussie yen. We just saw the Aussie news, guys. That came in, and you guys were able to see the spike over here, right? Nice little spike up, and looking across, I mean, really, we don't have too much area, too big of an area of selling until we come up into this range right here, right? We were pretty close, right? We talked about this last night that if we were able to get down into this zone before the news came out, we want to take this long, right? We were looking to go long. We were happy about it going long, right? But we didn't quite make it to the zone. It got turned around actually in this single wick over here, which is kind of crazy because typically when you have this kind of single wick against a wall this close to a zone, it goes and tags the zone. It's just so close, but it didn't. It turned and it started to rally back up on us. And again, for the news, you guys can see where it came across. I mean, it bounced twice, came back down, popped up, and let's see. I mean, the pop. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. I've been on Metasphere way too much lately. About 25 pip pop to the top side, so it's moving up. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to get fully up to that zone again. We retraced, and now we're starting to get a little bit more strength in. I would assume overnight this one may go right back up to the top, and I actually would not be hesitant to actually sell that if we get back up into that zone. The risk on that level is really not that high. You're only talking about 11 pips, 11, 12 pips. So not a horrible zone. It's pretty clean, right? And it turned in an area where there was nothing before. So not super concerned about it. You guys can see even over here, it's not necessarily even a bad zone. So if we can get up, I'd be looking to willing to take a short back to the downside. 11 pip risk, I'm okay taking that if you guys are still trading the markets. Okay. Looking at Aussie, New Zealand. Right to jail, undercook, overcook. Yeah. I don't know, but can you undercook steak? All right, so this one. So this one was pretty crazy. I was looking at this one, and yeah, right. So back here, look at this one right here at 4:30. This thing literally went bing and then piped right back up. We've been talking about this level, right? We said, hey, listen, we got a buying level right here, right at the bottom of this area. We got this little bit right here, right? We got this little pullback right here, not a bad area, pulled back and then exploded off that area, and then literally at what is it, 4:30 today? Yeah, 4:30 today. We literally did this weird little spike to the downside, grabbed it, and then took off, and then it basically just rallied. So, and you're talking about a 75 pip rally off of that. So pretty crazy little kind of spike to the downside. I saw it when it was happening, and then I kind of like got distracted, and then when I came back to it, I'm like, I don't know what just happened, but look at this thing. This thing literally spiked right down, came all over. I just didn't expect it. Again, this is that GDP number, but who would have expected it, right? I mean, who would have expected that much of a downward move, hitting this zone and turning and flipping back to the top side? So it's kind of like, wait, what just happened, right? And again, that was just slightly before. You guys can see it on the 15, right there. Okay, so again, New Zealand GDP spiked. I mean, I wasn't. I just yeah, the spike and then the rally back up again. I wasn't prepared for it. No, I'm still seeing forex factory screen. Just you? Yeah, it's just you. Everybody else can see the chart, right? I can see the chart. Yeah, I see the chart on everything. Refresh your browser. Yep, it's just you, Josh. All right. So yeah, so I don't know. Did anybody else catch this one? I had it marked. It triggered, and I was kind of like, wait, what just happened? Really? So I missed this one. Did any of you guys get this one? I don't know. I was looking for it. I was prepared for it, and then it happened. I was like, wait, what? So I missed this one. I did not get in. Nor did I expect it would rally 75 pips off of that. But again, daily zone, great. We're fine on the 4-hour. Great little 4-hour target, and yeah, it just ran. Yeah, I didn't have the entry. Yep. Kind of the same thing. I looked at it happening. I was like, what? Yeah, but valid zone. Wish I could say I grabbed all of it, but I didn't. So, again, going across the Aussie dollar, again, this is more in contact with where we are right now. So, remember what I said. I said I wanted to be down here when news happened because I was expecting this to go long. Unfortunately, it turned at about right after chart school. It started to turn up on us and then just kind of move away. And then again, we got the pop on it. Would have really liked that zone down there. I was definitely feeling that zone, and unfortunately, we didn't get it. We kind of flipped around. Now, same thing with this one. We do have a zone put in here at 68.90. If we do get up to 68.90, there is a potential opportunity to take a short on that one. Again, you'll see there's this funky little kind of rallying candle here, which is a pain, but you can't really see it on the 4-hour. So that's dealing with this little zone right here. Okay, not a bad push off. Again, it gave us about 20 hours worth of downward movement from that level. So if you're looking for something small to potentially get into, that would be the opportunity to do it. It's right around that area. And again, you can see that we had a fair to go higher in the second push. One up, came down, went up again, and actually went up 3 times. So there was multiple opportunities to get short this position. But right now, where we are again, a lot of basing sideways, and really most of this movement came in this last little, the last really like 2.5 hours. Okay. So for me, waiting to get up to the 68.90 area, not doing anything else until that time. If we turn and flip, I'm assuming we'll just come back and we'll start basing at the 68.50 mark. I don't know that there'll be too much tomorrow. And again, we'll see what type of uncertainty and what type of tweets rally back and forth tomorrow. That's what's going to move the overall indexes. And again, overall index is starting to move. People are going to get nervous. Gold will move, and then the Aussie will follow. So. Could have worked if there was a limit order. No, you could have done it in spot currencies. I mean, you could have taken a limit order in spot currency. Let's go across the euro pound. So, as mentioned last night, okay, we had this one little area here, right? And again, here's where we are right now at the 19. Where we were last night was right here. So I don't know if you can see that or not here. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Here's where we are right now. You guys can see this right here. I'm here. I'll do it this way just to make it a little easier. That's where we are right now. Make this candle big just so nobody can miss this one. That's where we are right now. That's the 19 candle. And that's where we were last night. So you can see, not really much movement. Not really. I mean, we've literally bounced back and forth. Remember we said, okay, here's this one little zone here, but then here's this kind of the other zone up top. We've literally threaded the needle, right? Literally just went right through that hole, okay? So it's not quite up into that selling zone, right? That's where we wanted to be, was up into these zones, right? We talked about we had a little zone here and then a bigger zone. We didn't even hit it. So close yet so far. Still bearish this pair. Have not gotten an entry or anything. Yeah. I mean, we can remove that. That was from a couple days ago. That was the start of the gap over here. But so close, right? So close. It's right there. Just waiting for it to touch, and we haven't got it yet. So if we get up in that area, guys, going back up in this 85.25 area, be looking to take a small short depending on what's going on in the markets. Now, retail sales does have the ability to hit this tomorrow. I mean, let's see, right now we are currently only 20 pips away from it. So again, with a big retail sales number tomorrow morning, we could definitely get a spike in this one up into that zone. So if you guys are awake, that's what I'd definitely be looking for. Now, if we do break below this 84, 88 area, you guys can see we do have a pretty good run to the downside over here as well. Yeah, I mean, you guys can see it. There's really not a whole lot of wicks in these candles, right? And again, nothing really super explosive over here on the downside either. So again, if we do get a close and we start getting the red, green, red confirmation to the downside, this could definitely be worth taking to the short. I'd like it to go a little bit higher first and then come crashing down. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. And again, I have an alert set up there in that zone. Okay. Looking at euro again. All right. So this one is not moving fast. It's just still kind of grinding where it did. As you guys can see, there was that touch from Tuesday night, right? Here's the 19, and here's the 19 last night. We had just started to push down. And it hasn't moved. As you can see, here's 21. There's 21. So we are literally at the exact same spot we were last night with no movement. Not really surprised. Again, there was not really necessarily any euro news, and there was really no yen movement today with the indexes basically doing absolutely nothing, being flat. So nothing in there. I think we'll get a little bit more movement tomorrow. Like I said, still watching kind of this little bit of a gap area. We have the gap down at 121.60, about 30 pips below where we are right now. I do expect we'll get a little bit of a hop off of that one when price actually comes down there. All right. We'll see if it has the ability to kind of go real far from there. But again, still looking to get short, still looking to get down here to the 121.60 area. That's where the gap is. And again, that's where you need to be cautious. But yeah, so much sideways move in this one, right? This is a sign that it's time to be done for the year. Looking at euro dollar is down 10 pips from where we were last night at this very same exact time. Overall, it's down, although a little while ago it started to rally back up again. Same thing in this one. We got super, super close. Actually, if I extend this area across, the dot is on the bottom, so I can't change the top side of that one. And you guys can see that's exactly what we bumped into. So It's moving. It's not moving fast, and it's literally been stuck inside of about a 20 pip range. So nothing really to write home about. I don't know. I wish you could say there's a really great setup in this one, but there's really not a great setup in this one. If you're looking for something a little bit more smaller time frame, this is probably the best area that we have that we're looking at right now is probably this. Okay, that's 111.65 to 111.74. That 9 pip range up there. That's the last time we really got a good kind of nice push away off of a decent zone. Again, some big candles to the downside on that one. That's basically it. Really not too much more on that, unfortunately. Um, I think we're probably going to come back down again. I see some dollar strength coming back into the markets. I just feel with the rallies and everything else going on, and once now that we are where we are with the impeachment, I'm pretty sure that I don't think Trump is going to quiet down. I think he will start ratcheting it up and start going kind of hyper aggressive, right? Republicans have told him just shut up. We'll handle it and it'll be done and we'll move on. But I'm pretty sure he wants to make a spectacle of this whole thing. So I think what that'll do is I think that could potentially bring some dollar strength back into it. I think he's going to start getting very aggressive, and yeah, I think if he gets aggressive, I still think the European Union could be potentially a target for this one, especially with all the stress testing at banks. So yeah, I think we should again I think we can get some dollar strength coming back into this market, but we'll see how low it goes if it's able to actually burst through this area. After that, again, we're looking for targets down here at a 110.78. So you get a little bit of target to the downside. Of this pair right now, it's a little was 45, and now we're back to 41. So, looking at pound dollar, I'm sorry, pound yen. Bam. All right, so this guy is all the way back, and then we stopped. Right, so we had these two lines, these two purple lines down here, talking about a zone, kind of a basing level on the daily. It was also the origin of where price started to take off for Brexit. We've literally come back down, and now we're just literally riding right on the top. So, had you been tracing this pair back to the downside, you haven't had any movement really since the same time last night. In 24 hours, it literally has not moved. If you see these little candles here, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, there's your 19 candle right here. Okay, we haven't moved in 24 hours. So, still sitting in an area of demand. We'll see if we can start to get some type of a reaction on this one. Riding on the top of his own, not really the best thing. Okay, people are waiting for any type of Brexit news to send this thing going crazy. Now, I am curious about this tomorrow. And again, thankfully, the news, the monetary policy summary is coming out at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I am curious to see now that the election is over and the Conservatives are in charge and they have the ability to pass Brexit in any form that they want. I'm curious to see you know, if the monetary policy summary will kind of mention that. Because obviously now there is certainty with what's going to happen going forward. It's definitely going to happen. I'm curious if they're going to start mentioning that in any type of context, because that definitely could be a market mover. If they make some type of comment about, with Brexit, we're going to do this, or with Brexit, we're looking to do this, or with Brexit, we're going to handle this way, that could potentially be market moving. And that may be what this is looking for. Okay. We'll see. I've been patient for it. Yeah, you've been patient. Yeah, it's taken forever. This is like that CAD trade like last week that Ernest and I were like, I'm like, Ernest, you trade this one? He's like, no, it's just too slow for me. It's taking forever. And I was like, yeah, I know. Tell me about it. And then it ended up dropping a couple days later, but it took a long time for it to actually get there. Um, yeah, so we'll see what the news brings in the morning. Looking at pound dollar is down 3 pips. So, again, still nothing super crazy on this one. It's more or less doing the same thing. It didn't spend as much time. You still got a little bit of a pullback. So the same thing. We drew this line. Here's the start of the move, right? And what is it doing? It's literally stuck on this line. Now, at least this one went a little bit below and then just decided that it wanted to ride the rest of the line. But same situation. The trend has gone from it. The entire spike up and has been completely, redone. And we don't even really necessarily have a good basing level. We have those 3 that we drew yesterday. And besides that, there's nothing else sitting in this one. We dinged off the daily. We were able to put a couple levels back in and we retraced the entire, again, heck of a parabolic retracement move, right? But again, we have retraced fully in less than a week. which is absolutely unbelievable for the amount of pips it had to take over. I thought that this would last a bit longer. How will the impeachment affect different currencies? By the way, it won't. Because here's the thing. So the market, what the market does is the market factors things in ahead of time, right? It has its different models and things, and so it's basically factored in the fact that the vote tonight happened exactly how they had predicted it. It was going to go down party lines, and he was going to get impeached. But at the end of the day, the market is also in belief, and pretty much everybody out there is in belief that it will just basically die in the Senate. I mean, most of the people have already been vocal and said which way they're voting, even though it hasn't officially gotten to them yet. And it's basically going to die. That way, both sides can claim a victory. They can claim, yeah, we impeached him, but at the end of the day, who cares? Nothing happens from it. He's not removed. He'll do anything he wants. And the fact that he doesn't get removed and he'll be acquitted of it, because again, his party will vote him that way. Nothing's going to change. But I do see him getting more brazen, so I think he'll ramp up some of the trade war stuff. And again, at this point, we have to approve the Mexico deal because it's been sitting there for about a year now. The House has finally passed it. That'll be done, so he'll be able to claim victory on the USMCA. Then phase 2 of the Chinese deal will happen. Again, I guess now, I don't know, Jim Cramer tonight was all about, I happened to be in the car going to dinner with Mom. He was all about how China has to start purchasing hogs from us because I guess swine flu has killed half of the hogs in China. So they are like so far behind. And it was interesting. He pointed this out. Tiananmen Square, that whole thing didn't start with free speech. That actually started with food riots. So they said that food is going to be a really big deal, that they're not going to make that mistake again, that they're going to have to start buying pork products from farmers, which could also raise the prices of pork products here. So, yeah, will be interesting. But no, the impeachment really doesn't mean anything because the market has already factored in that the Senate's going to shoot it down and it's not going to go any farther. He'll be Teflon Don president now, probably, right? Yeah, probably. But it's I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. This is nothing. This is just sideways movement. Everything's sucked out. No power, no potential, no nothing. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So New Zealand. So New Zealand obviously had that kind of spike that we talked about before. Again, the 445 data. And you guys can see the little blip in this one, right? Kind of quick pop up and down. And if you guys see what it ran into, it hit it, I think this looks best on, you can see it on the here. So here, I'll just draw on this one. It's probably easier over here. So looking at the start of the move, we obviously had a basing level here, but this is the first clean. Again, this kind of pulled up. This is a clean level, right? Looking to the left, there was nothing over there. So when you take this as your upper kind of range for news, right? You guys can see here. Let me change it so make it real clear. This color. Bam. You can see, and again, you guys can see where it bracketed off. Okay, the start of that move. You could actually make this one a little bit smaller. I don't think it's actually that large of an area anyway. I have this drawn on MetaTrader, not. That's the entire area. We could have definitely tightened this area up and moved it here, right, into that area and actually lowered this slightly to about 7 pips, right? And you guys can see that's how wide this zone is. And what did it do? It literally spiked up. It tagged this zone, which you can see on the 4-hour, and then turn and flip right back down again. So this is a quick trade. And again, there's your basically 30 pips to the downside. You're depending on if you got which one you got in, it would be here. There would be 24, depending on if you took it on 8 or 7, doesn't matter. But yeah, right in here. Trying to find making an easier way so you guys can see it. But yeah, so basically there, right? There's your 3-to-1 off the news if you guys were taking that one. So very, very fast trade, didn't last very long, but you were able to get into that one and get out of that one off of that zone very, very quickly. Okay, that's what you have in this one. Besides that, really, again, not too much. Bit of an update, right? Here's 19, and looking back, 19 was right here. We had pushed down. Now, interesting enough, it pushed down and actually turned in kind of like a right in between these two levels. It's right here. So again, is it the highest quality turnaround spot? It's okay, right? I was actually kind of surprised. Looking at the 4-hour, looking at the 4-hour, it really is not a great little zone that it flipped in. So I would actually expect this one to kind of maybe go a little bit higher, but then turn and rally back to the downside. This one also goes along that idea of that I see some dollar strength coming back. If dollar strength comes back in, I do see it coming back down and getting back down to the 65.32 area. And again, if we do make it down in this area again, I'd like to see it kind of put in kind of what we saw, right? That kind of failure to go higher or failure to go lower. I like to see a push in, a bounce back out again, and then another attempt, not as high, and that'll be a signal for me to go long, and then this will be my risk level. The risk level down here is only about 13 pips. But again, what we need to see is I need to see this come down, then go up, and then go not as high. And then that'll be my signal to go long. Okay. That's for the downside play. If it just continues to push higher, I will not use this zone again. This zone has been pierced almost to the end, right? I'll wait until we get back up to 66.26 to be able to take that one short. Okay. Looking at dollar Swiss. Come on, dollar Swiss. You can do it. Come on, dollar Swiss. So, this one. We were looking for a break below this zone and have it continue, but it's literally just been stuck. So here's where we are right now. Going back, the 19 candle is right here. Have not moved. We rallied up a little bit and then came right back down again. Still haven't even really cleared the zone. So same trade setup. We're waiting for this zone to break to the downside to be able to pop through. At this point, I mean, it's getting higher and higher. It is grabbing orders sitting right here in a supply zone right above here. I don't know how much longer it's going to probably hold, though. I mean, it's been pierced, what, 1, 2, 3 times now, and doesn't look like there's a lot of orders. I think its next push up may actually come back up into kind of this range. Whoops. I think we may actually, this has the ability to push back up into there. Okay. Let me take this off of green, though. I think we have the ability to push back up into that zone. I do think it'll find some sellers in there. There's a bunch of little tops over here, but hey, this is getting more and more brazen on this way to the top side. So we'll see what this one is able to do. Like I said, if anything in this one, if you want to set an alert for yourself, what I would want to do is set myself an alert at least down here at 97.90. It's about 10 pips below where we are right now. At least that'll give you confirmation that we've kind of cleared the area, so you can take it and be able to kind of take it back to the to the downside. Really, I mean, you don't want it just to pierce through here and then go short and have it bounce through, kind of do one of these things. You want to make sure that it gets some actual decent room. Remember, a little trick you guys can do with this one is make sure that you are able to, paint some type of a triangle, right? And that there's space all the way around the triangle. That's a nice little trick that you guys can do to make sure that there is enough space to, have it go around. What are you making noise for? All right, so looking at dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, let's see, dollar CAD is down 49 pips. So this is the biggie of the day. As you can see, most of that was in this this 8-hour window here, starting at basically the London Open. And you guys can see, okay, here's the 19 candle, and here's where we were last night. We talked about we were going back into that zone. Would we take the short? Yes. 15 pips, and you guys can see currently right now we are up. You're up 54. Right? So we're basically close. We've actually been over 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio in this trade. This is something we set up last night, and it was purely based off of this drop sideways as well as this retest here, okay, from Tuesday. And like I said, as it was pulling back up again, price got turned away. Could you have taken a very, very tiny level? Probably not. Just because of the way that this was formed. I mean, it's just kind of, like I said, you could have maybe shrunk it up to here, but then you would have gotten in. Again, it's 15. I don't know how much smaller you want to make it. Have we tried to shrink this up to this upper level here? I mean, you're talking about taking like 3 or 4 pips. That's just not enough. You really need the full 15 for that zone. So I don't know if anybody took this one last night. This one was good. Again, this is another one of the ones we set up. Hopefully somebody got some cash on this one. No, Mike, I trade a couple different things actually. Forex is the main thing that I trade because I'm able to do these at night. It's the one I look at during the most during the day. I have the ability to trade indexes. I don't. I trade oil as well through Nadex. I don't trade it through regular futures though. But I know how to trade futures. I know how to trade stocks. I don't currently trade stocks or options except in my wealth account, and the reason why is because my wife is a financial advisor. So unfortunately, because she's regulated, so am I. And I have to have money at specific brokerage firms, and I have to get approval, and it's kind of a pain. If you know anybody that's licensed, ask them about it. They can explain it to you. But it's a pain. So, due to her job, all my accounts they have to have access to and all that stuff. It's fun. It's really, really fun, let me tell you. But I love my wife, so It's all good. But yeah, if you have a question about something, I'm more than willing to look at as well. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It makes sense. Yeah, it's hard. See, what happens is anytime, like, so I used to work for Wells Fargo as a financial advisor, and that's when I got kind of the first taste of it all, about like kind of what type of regulation. So I used to trade before that time, and you need to get approval for every single trade you do before you do it. And unfortunately, with my style of trading, by the time they would get back to me 2 or 3 days later down the road, the trade's already happened. It's already too late for me to be able to get into it. So it got to be a pain. I was actually the first advisor at Wells Fargo to be able to trade currencies. And the reason why I challenged them and basically said, "Hey, listen, we don't have a currency desk. We don't, subscribe. We don't recommend currencies to our clients whatsoever. Why can't I trade this? What type of insider trading would I have to trade currencies?" And they took it back to compliance and was like, "You know what? You're absolutely right. If you would like to continue to trade currencies, you are allowed to do it." So I was the first advisor to get permission to trade currencies. It was awesome. I got in forex years ago, but haven't had much capital. Yeah, so Mike, that's great. That's why a lot of people get into forex is because lack of capital. One of the cool things too that we're doing right now is we are using currencies and we're getting funded accounts. So when I first started currencies, actually back in 2000, actually I guess I started currencies in like 2005, 2006 time period. Um, that was kind of the situation I was in. I'd been through stocks and options, didn't really have the capital to trade those. Found currencies, loved the leverage of currencies. Didn't really have a whole lot of capital because again, I was working, I had a car. I mean, I was like one of those kids that at 25 had a Corvette. It was used, but I still had a Corvette, and you don't know what maintenance costs are until you buy an expensive car. And I didn't have it. Nowadays, they have these things called funded accounts where you have to pass a test basically to show that you know what you're doing, and then they give you money basically to trade. It's not your money; it's their money. You trade their money, and you take basically a cut of it, whether it be 80 or 70% of what your profits are. But it's a great way to do it because you don't have to have a whole lot of startup capital to be able to do it. In fact, you can pay less than $200 if you're good enough. You pass their tests, and they'll give you 10, 25, 50, $100,000 to trade. So you don't need your own money to trade. You can use their money, and then they just take a small cut of your profits, and there's no risk to you. So there's definitely ways around that. There's some really cool things you can do now. I wish I had that opportunity when I first started trading because it would have sped my learning process up a ton. Um, yeah, it would have been again, instead of having to acquire things. Yeah, it's getting more and more popular. There's a U.S. company, and then there's another company that we use overseas. Um, if you have Discord or you're familiar with what Discord is, click the button at the bottom of the Twitch window for Discord, and you'll get joined to the server, and then you can shoot me a message on there, and I can give you the details about it. Um, it's definitely something. If you're one of those people that you have the knowledge and the time, but you don't have the capital, it's definitely a great opportunity to be able to take advantage of it. So yeah, again, I can look at stocks at night, but the market's not open, so that's why I look at currencies. Okay. But they're all traded the exact same. It really doesn't. You can show me any chart and I can look at it and trade it. Okay. So guys, dollar CAD again. We are about, like I said, 54 pips in. You guys know again, if you guys are not, obviously you guys are not new, but you guys know this one is 762, right? So again, just for you guys out there that are new with this, that are not 100% sure how this works versus stocks, trading one standard lot would be the equivalent of basically you controlling. Not you don't need $100,000 to do it. You can do it with less than that, a whole lot less than that. But you're basically controlling $100,000. It's $7.62 per pip. So 7 times 62, we are up 54. So this trade that we set up last night is now up $418 for the day. Again, at our peak, you would have been up just about $500. And your risk on it was very, very tiny. Your risk on this trade was about $114. All right. So again, up about $400. Could have been up a little bit more on that one again when we were down in this area. Spiked times. But again, we had a pretty ambitious target on this one. Okay. All right. So that's where we are now. Again, I'm waiting for this to come down. I do think we will hit the full completion of this one. Let's see. Tomorrow, no news, but we do have news on Friday morning. We have core retail and retail sales for the CAD. So I'd really like for this to go just a bit lower, and I want it to start hovering. I do want it to slow down, but I want it to slow down here. I want to be here Friday morning so I can look to take this long for a pop to the top side. Forecast is supposed to be good, and that's why I think there may be a bit of disappointment. Last time retail sales number for CAD was minus 0.1, and they're expecting it to be a 0.5 this time. So the market is expecting good. If it's bad, that's where we get the pop. So I want it to kind of crash and just I want it to roll over and just stay down here at basically 131 for Friday morning. Okay. Yeah. Your similar 25 situation, yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. Like I always loved Corvettes. I got one. I only had it for 6 months, 8 months. When I got the bill the first time to change the tires, I was like, how much are they? How much? What? Yeah, you don't realize the maintenance on some of those things until you get it. And I was like, nah, why don't I trade this in and I'm gonna get it. I'll go back to a Jeep. Actually, I traded a Jeep on that, and then I traded the Vet in, and then I ended up getting a truck. It was an SUV truck, and then back in the whole loop. So I can say that I've had a Mustang, a Firebird, and a Corvette. What, four? Three, I guess, three two-door Jeeps, and then two two-doors. Yeah. Yeah. So see, I didn't back then. Leases wasn't as big back then. You didn't really lease cars back then. Thank God, because I only keep cars for like 2 to 3 years. But yeah, thank God there was none. I would have been in the same situation. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Mike. Been there, done that. Yeah. So again, that's where we are here. Dollar yen. Let's look at this one. Let's see how much movement we had in the dollar yen for today. And the answer is not much, right? Still floating back and forth. We still have that zone. It still hasn't really been able to break out of the top side of it. It's kind of the same thing. Here's where we are now, and then we look where we were last night. Again, we were just trying to kind of break out the bottom side, and it ran into this kind of small area of demand, and then just immediately popped back up. But you can see really what it's done today. I mean, here's where we are at 21 now, and then going back, here's 21. So not really a ton of movement. Again, indices didn't move today. I mean, the Dow, I think, what was it? The Dow was down, the S&P was down, and then like the Nasdaq was up by like just like a little super little tiny. I think the Dow was like down like 28 points. So it was down basically nothing for the day. And again, this pair is obviously going to be directly reflective upon what that one does as well. So not too much movement. We'll probably get a little bit more tomorrow. Like I said, as the tweet wars kind of start going back and forth tomorrow, I think the indices will probably want to move. There's only really truly 2 days left in trading before the holidays. Next week is basically just shot. So any traders that still need to make their year or make some money are doing it in the next 2 days. So that may give us a little bit of movement tomorrow. And again, I would still say I'm bearish this position. I mean, everything in this thing, screams bearish. It has pushed higher. But if we can get any type of bit lower, then yeah, we're good to go. Do you put value in politics for trading some of these pairs recently? Anything related? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, Brexit is something that's never happened before. The swings of it are just absolutely unreal. Predicting Brexit, again, interesting enough that you ask about Brexit. Again, I'm going to go back, guys, and I hope you guys are cool with that. We talked about where Brexit would go to. So the style of trading that I use is I focus on supply and demand and price action. So here is the Brexit move. Okay, we talk about how much something moves. So just as an example, the average, looking at this chart on the top left-hand side over here, this down here, this ATR is basically what the average range is. And you can see for the most part, it's around this red line, which is around basically about 100, right? This was a Brexit time back in here, and we were up at about 160 pips movement, right? Every single day, large movement, right? And then it went really, really down, and nothing happened. And all of a sudden, boom, Brexit happened. And again, you can see the big green candle right here, right? And what happened? We went from 88 pips per day, and then bam, it drove us all the way back up to 140. So things like Brexit make it move very, very fast. But interesting enough, where did it run into? Where we had marked off as a sell zone. So even though this thing moved 500 pips, basically 5 times its movement in one day, basically in this one little kind of hour period, it still ran right into a zone of sellers that we were able to predict ahead of time. Okay. And then what did it do? It retraced all the way back. This is actually another one of the strategies that we teach here, parabolic retracements. So interesting enough, yes, you could put some value in politics, but at the end of the day, the buyers and selling areas are still exactly the same. It doesn't matter if there's politics or they're not politics. It's just how long things take to move is really what it is. So news will act as a catalyst to get basically the movement of what you need. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. And again, here's the pound yen, and then looking at the pound dollar, which is just instead of comparing the pound versus the yen, it just compares the pound versus the US dollar. And it just happened to do the same exact thing. We had the same spike up. We ran into a same level, not obviously different pair, but it was a level of selling on the daily zone, and it literally retraced all the way back again. So even if something as big as Brexit, we got that type of movement and it retraced all the way back again. So again, a lot of people will be using indicators and everything else. I'll tell you right now, this thing blew through the top of every single person's indicator. But being able to draw this ahead of time and having it stop right on that zone, that should say something about the power of understanding how to read price action. Okay. Now let's go across. Look at CAD yen, guys. So CAD yen is also in an interesting situation, and it's up in that zone, right? We talked about it before. Here's where we are now, and here's where we were last night, okay? I mentioned having some type of a turn right around this green line, right? We talked about this would be some type of a pullback area, right? Again, we had that basing level. All we did from this morning, basically from 3 a.m. on, is we rallied up. I don't know what it was about 3 a.m. today, but by 7 o'clock in the morning, it was done and it just flatlined and didn't move again. So it pulled down, it rallied up, and stopped. So depending on where you are in this one, you may still be in this trade. It has not gone any higher. It has shown us a little bit that it wants to go back to the downside. The risk was rather small in this position. We were looking to take this on a short for some type of a spike, but unfortunately, it had already gone high. In reality, with the oil news, this should have dropped more to the downside, but it didn't. Again, this one is kind of being a little bit, I'd say a little bit resistant to getting weaker. Now, a lot of that resistance, though, is coming obviously from the yen. And again, the indecision and people not knowing what's going on. Again, CAD weakness, but we also had yen weakness because we really just, who knows, right? Everybody's waiting for this impeachment vote. So that's where we are with this one again. At this point, I would still probably, I'm going to move this up now. It won't be our pivot. I'm going to say there's probably where our target needs to be. You guys can see it's the start of the move. So if we were going to kind of get this one in, I think that's from, did we move that from across? Yeah, we moved that back from over there. Let's see, what risk do we have in this one? I don't think we need 18 on that one, but so again, it's only a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio trade. I may want to make that a bit smaller. Let's see. Actually, we could potentially do this. So there's our high. Well, let me do it this way so I can actually augment the thing. All right, hopefully the bird stops making noise. The bird finally came out of the cage. If we leave our risk level here, okay, that gives us our true red, green, red to the downside. And again, we're getting another red, green, red now. That gives you about 10 pips worth of risk. And that gives you about 38 to the downside. Okay. So again, risking 10 to make 38, not a bad risk to reward setup. Okay. And again, that would be a bit of a confirmation to the downside if you're looking to trade something tonight. It's probably the best setup we got on that one right now. Okay. So not horrible. Not a bad trade. Hello, Jade. What? Are you happy now? I guess you really wanted to come out. Or he, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. What? She's sitting on my shoulder looking at the microphone. Can't figure out if she's going to attack the microphone or what. But that's where we are with this one, guys. All right. Looking at, let's pull up oil real quick. Let me bring it up over here. Let's see. All right. It's slow to load today. All right. So we had areas marked off. Again, that's on the daily. Okay. Daily, we mentioned that we have to get really back up into this level. We need to go pretty high. And again, we did not get as high as that. Right. Then we drop it down to the hourly. And you can see on the hourly, I'm sorry, it's 4 hour first. Okay, on the 4 hour, we had been looking at levels back in this area, right? And this thing went higher, right? You guys can see we had levels up in there, right? And we ended up going right through the top of that. So pretty crazy market today, right? This is what we had. I'll just delete this. All right. Look at this. Down, up, and then retrace back again, right? I was looking at it on the lower time frames, and this kind of what we had. Now, I'm gonna give you guys the true picture. Now, what was funky about it is you guys can obviously tell where the news is, right here in this green candle. But what I want to know is, what the heck is this red candle right here, right? This red candle, I was kind of like, okay. I mean, literally, a spike up and down for no apparent reason, and yet here's where the news came out at, right? Now, could you have taken this long with a breakout? Sure, absolutely, right? I mean, here on the 30-minute is your level right there of demand, right? And what did price do? At 10 o'clock right here, it came right down to, obviously where we were right before news. news kicked in here and literally launched through the roof, right? We were at 60.40 and went all the way up to 61.10, right? So again, big movement, ended up coming all the way over to here to 61.18. So again, lots of movement in a short period of time. Yeah, I mean, that was oil today, if you guys were willing to take it. Like I said, nice little breakout. You could have taken this in Nadex. This one I've been a little bit cautious. Like I said, James gave us the information before, but yeah, you guys can see bigger spikes over here in volume. Obviously not the biggest one. Okay. So that's oil. Now, where we are in oil now, I actually kind of see oil coming back down again. Like I said, we kind of pushed up and got another level of basing. So we have one level of basing here. And then we have this bit of a, obviously a gap. I think that's the rollover that's affecting this one. But again, then sideways basing again. I think this potentially can come back down to the 60-40 level. You're talking about, what, 30-cent drop back to the downside. I don't think that's out of the ordinary. I think that's definitely something that could, potentially happen here. Question is, can it happen tomorrow? Maybe. Maybe. See. Get this on a daily view. Yeah, I think we could potentially get some movement back again tomorrow. If I have to pick right now, I'd say I'm probably short this. Um, just by the way that we have a level here, a level here, right? And obviously, I guess we should mark off the entire area because there was a gap, right? And then obviously a basing level right here. Okay, we start to push down. That's going to give us another level to the downside. So definitely got some supply form on this one. Oh, there she's doing laps. All right. And again, the only place that we know we have buyers is literally back down here at the 60.38. So that's what I would say. If this thing can come down, I think we could have some good opportunity to take this and go back to the top side. So yeah, that's oil. Now I know I didn't trade gold today either. There were some small levels out there. I know who was it? Sean, I think. Sean or Wealth Builder, I don't remember which one. They were trading gold today on one of the lower time frames. He was doing it pretty aggressively later, but you guys can see this is what gold was doing. Again, this is the hourly on gold. Just a couple, areas to watch out for. Again, right, we have this guy right here. Okay, and I'm so used to the other one. You guys can see getting up into this 1478 range. Last time price was here, not only did it hit, it launched itself back to the downside. So we're pretty close. We're about 20 cents from where that is right now. But if we get back up to that area tomorrow, again, you could potentially be looking to take some type of a short. Okay. Oh, Nadix, you got some too? Cool. Yeah, I didn't know if you got any. I'm pretty sure it was Sean, now that I'm thinking about it. And then we were talking, oh no, you know what? It was Wealth Brother, because then we were talking about it. He actually took it off a very small level. He went down to like a 5-minute chart and was looking at spikes over here. So he took it off this wick over wick. Again, you guys know I love my wick over wicks, but man, he was looking at taking this position right here. Man, the second click's driving me crazy. I'm so used to holding it down, and it's just not, you don't do it over here. He was looking at taking it off of this zone, right? And I was like, man, I don't know. I mean, it didn't spend much time there and then continued to clap. Obviously it pulled away and is getting back up there now, but it's kind of like, man, I was like, talk about hyper aggressive. I'm like, that's a 5-minute wick over wick. I mean, yeah. But again, it did come back down, and again, it went right back into the sawtooth area and then kind of turned around and then spread the base sideways before we got another pop again. So, yeah, yeah, go him. Like I said, I wouldn't be taking off of that, but I mean, if he was able to snag it, make some money on it, have at it, right? Uh, Again, this one is kind of the same thing for me for oil. I would like it to go a bit higher. It's inside of right now a selling zone, right? We are inside of a zone right now, right? And it's looking to get out. All right, it's way too dark. Let me lighten this up a little bit. Look at that one. I was like, man, bright like blood color on the screen. So we are in a selling zone now. There is potential shorts you can take in this one. And again, this one also coincides. If the dollar strengthens, the gold will typically weaken. So I mentioned on a couple different of the currency pairs. Again, we're in positions where it looks like we're going to have some dollar strength return back into the market. They're sitting in areas where, obviously that demand will drive the value of the dollar higher. So that also coincides with this. Again, you could potentially, if I had to say where is this going to, move to, I would say that, Potential profit target would probably be down here at 1475. If we're able to, again, that's the start of the move. Now, there is a little bit of a wick over wick here, so maybe at 1475, what is that? 1475.85. But for the most part, if we retrace this all the way back down, which I think this has the power to do, actually, I guess on the safe side, it would be 114.75.40 would be where the target is on that one. And again, I don't have a Nadex contract out. Let me see. Let's see what the Nadex contracts look like on this one. If you were so inclined to take this one short. I'll drag this across. Let's see. What do we got here? What do we got here? Where did we say? 114.75. I mean, those are actually pretty cheap now. I mean, you can get into those for 21 bucks risk. It's 27, yeah. So like in this range. About $22 risk. Like I said, I think we'll get some movement back again. So 25 per contract. Again, you could take this off at 60. We'd end up tagging that one. It's not bad. Let me see. Is there let's see, 1481. Nah, it's already moved too much. And I hate when they do that. Too much movement already. Oh well. Yeah, if it comes a little bit high, it would be to get a little bit cheaper. But yeah, so that would be, that would be my call on that one. Let's see here the weeklies. And it'd be 114.70 for the weeklies. No, it's not all the way down here. No, it's too far. Nope, too far. Yeah, so that would not bad. $20 risk for that one to the downside. Like I said, I could see that kind of flipping over. That actually may be one. Again, this zone here is not very large. You could potentially take that over on the the funded account side as well. That may not be a horrible trade to take. See if this thing comes down. So, yeah, the week, yeah, but 114.70 though is all. I'm looking at that, but it's all the way down here. I mean, you're talking about right here, right? I mean, that's below the low over here. So I mean, not only do we have to chunk through this, Ernest, you got a good little zone here, right? You got one zone there. You got this zone here we got to chunk through. And then obviously you got something down here as well. So I don't know. I mean, it's a small chart, right? But even on the hourly, you can see this zone here. You got this bit down here. These two you can't see. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know with what everything. That's a lot. I think that's a lot of movement to be able to chunk down. Like I said, if you have something like this, sure. But that's, you can see that's a special occasion. Yeah, way down there now. Right? It's just a little bit too far. Like if it was here, maybe, but I think this is a better target for $20 risk. I think that's probably a better option. All right. All right, guys. So with that being said, that's kind of what we have for gold. I'll leave that up there and we can kind of save it and kind of review it tomorrow night. I think we gave like 2 or 3 different setups tonight that came out. Again, like I said, 2 of them from last night ended up triggered and hit. Hopefully one of these guys tonight, again, we'll give you guys something tradable that we can kind of go over again tomorrow. We'll see how those play out. All right. So if you guys haven't done it already, go ahead and make sure you do the exclamation point ticket for the giveaway. This way you can grab your pip chips and use that to purchase things. I know I said I put the indicator up today. I didn't get a chance to actually. I kind of got wrapped into something. I was trying to get the newsletter updated for you guys with the different sections, but I got most of it already laid out. So like I said, next week, even though it's going in, obviously the markets in at least the currency markets will still move some. I just want to make sure that that updated report is there. And then again, see how you guys like it in the new format and let me know how that works out. So we'll be back tomorrow. Give me the exclamation point ticket if you guys haven't already. Here's what it looks like right now. Looks like 10 of you guys are in. Mike just got in. Anybody else? I will give you guys another 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I know that some of you guys have a little bit of a delay. Where are you on the tool? I was testing it more today. It's looking good. Like I said, it's, it's almost there. Trying to get the supply and demand one is the tricky one right now. All right, so with that being said, we got another 10 seconds, and then I will shut this down, and then we will do the drawing. And we got multiple people going in with 2. James is sitting over here. Ernest is trying to get his hacks in real quick. It was supposed to be before Christmas. Hey, Christmas is not for 7 more days. I got 7 more days. It'll be up. It'll be up. All right, I'm shutting it down. Let's see. Winner of the drawing is... Wow, look at that. Mike's in 1 day, and Mike's already taken a victory. Congratulations, Mike. You had a 6% chance of winning this one, and you took it first day in. That's pretty cool. Make sure you follow the channel, and you got as you watch, you acquire more pip chips, and you'll be able to buy things. The only thing I have in here in the stream store right now is mentoring. That's one-on-one sessions with me, and yeah, congratulations. Let's see. New tonight, so you're probably at the bottom. Let's see. The last one? Maybe. Let's see. Ow. All right, you're in here somewhere. Let's see. Where is Mad Mike? I guess I get a search for him. Oh, I guess I got to type the whole thing in. Let's see. What do we got? Mad Mike 577. Let's see. You have 2 points. So there. Now I can search for the 2 points. Oh, you're on the next page. Maybe that's why. Mad Mike, right there we go. Look at this. You get your 25 points for tonight. And again, Mike, whenever you join, you end up getting pip chips, and they add up. You can see on the top of the leaderboard. Click the all time. You can see that this is how many they've acquired, but they actually have more than that right now. You guys will see they end up getting double bonuses and things like that. So good job on your first night in. Look at that. He's here. He wins 1 day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're typically on Monday through Thursday nights from 9 till 10:15-ish. And again, in the new year, we'll probably start doing some broadcasts earlier in the morning as well. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm out. I'll be back tomorrow night. If you guys need me for anything in the morning, go ahead and message me on Discord, and I will do my best that I can answer it. Also, for those of you that are new, make sure you jump over and check out the forex channel. I did a little pop quiz today, and Sean answered the questions. But it's good for reference if you guys were trying to figure out what was going on in the chart and how we ended up trading it. Go ahead and copy and screenshot that one. And then if you have any other questions about it, I can answer it for you guys tomorrow. All right. I followed for a while. I haven't watched a ton. All right. Well, make sure you start watching some more. We'll give you a hand with this little fun thing. All right. You guys take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow.